Chapter 2 is about functions and graph. So after this session, you should be able to define function. So we're going to discuss function in this chapter. And you need to know how to form a linear function. Further from that, you need to know how to find the slope and intercept. And you need to graph a linear function and system. You need to know, for linear function, what is the graph, and solve the system of linear equation. And finally, apply the concept of function and graph. So this is application. So we are going to know, we're going to learn how to apply the concept in the real world. So let's start with the function. Now, what is a function? A function is actually a process that mapping an input x onto a unique output y. So for example, let's say we have y equals to x plus 1. Okay, we call this thing a function. Okay, why? Because if we have an input x, so the x is the input, then from this input we can actually find the output. So the y is the output. Now, for example, if the x is 1, okay, the input is 1, what is the output? 1 plus 1, 2, right? If the input is 10, what is the output? The output is 11. Therefore, when we have an input, we will get one output, so we call this a function. So it is a process mapping an input to one output. Now let's take a look on another one. Let's say we have y equals to square root of x, for example. Now, is this a function? Now, let's see. Now, if we have the input has 4, the y is actually square root of 4, right? So, what do we get? Square root of 4, we can get positive 2 or negative 2, right? So, you can see here, now we have only one input, x is 4, 4 is the input, but we get two output. So is the output unique? Is the output unique? No, because we have two output. Two output is not considered an unique output. Therefore, this one is not, not a function. Okay, so what is a function? Function is a process that mapping one input x to one output y. So this is important. It should be one only, one input and one output. All right. So this is what we call a function. Now the variable x is called independent variable. Now because x is changing, it can be any number. Therefore, we call that a variable, means that it's always changing. But however, we can choose the value of x, therefore it is independent. Now, is y independent? Can we choose any value of y? No, because we will get the value of y depends on x. So the y is actually depends on x. So therefore we call that dependent variable. Okay, so we say y is depend on x or y is a function of x. So this is what we call a function. All right, so you need to know this word function. You need to know should be one input of x, all right, and then one input, oh sorry, one output y, all right, and the x is independent, y is dependent. Okay, so let's move on from here. Now let's take a look on this example to understand further what is function. Okay, what does a taxi ride cost me with company A? Now the base price is $5 and per kilometer is $2. Now in those days, all right, if you take taxi, I'm not sure whether you have take taxi or not. So if you take taxi, once you get in the car, you have to pay the base price. All right. So whether you just after you get in the car and then you say you don't want, right, you want to get down, you have to pay the base price. Right, the base price is $5. And for each kilometer travel, you have to pay extra. So this is for extra, right, payment per km. So if you have a 7 km ride, what is the price? All right, so we know that the price will be, all right, I'm going to put the price here. Price will be, okay, right, 7 km multiply each km, $2, right? So we have a $2 here. All right, and is this what we need to pay? No, we have to pay the base price is $5. All right, so this is what we need to pay, right? So at the end, you need to pay, right, 14 plus 5, right, which is $19. Now, how about we make it a general one, all right? We say it's a X km. So how much you need to pay if it is X km? So according to this formula here, all right, so the price now will be 7, sorry, no, it's not a 7 km. So it's a X km, right? So $2 multiply X km plus $5. All right, so we can put it as y equals to 2x plus 5, and this is a function, right, to represent the right.